Hello again, my loving souls. It's Olesya. For someone who is just starting to watch my videos, I'm telling you my experiences and story, what has been happening with me in the last year and a half. This is video number, I would say, 7, 8, right? Check out my other videos because each video is kind of goes like an episode, like a series, and without like watching all prior videos, you might not, you might not get the whole whole picture of the events that are taking place in my life. I'm in this again beautiful, beautiful place. You possibly hear the birds in the background. The sun is shining today again in sunny San Diego. As I was walking here, and again, their hummingbirds are flying from one eucalyptus tree to another eucalyptus trees. So there's a lot of like eucalyptus trees and palm trees in here. So it's just very, very beautiful. Our nature, the beauty is all around, and my heart, my heart is joyful. As I was walking here, there were interesting things happening. The butterfly, so there's like the trail. The butterfly would fly and sit on the trail, and it will, just as I walk by, it's gonna fly out. It would fly out, and there was a dragonfly, the blue and green, beautiful dragonfly, would fly again in front of me, kind of sit on this path, and then as I walk in, it will flies out, and then the same butterfly will come back. And so this type of like two beautiful creatures, they were kind of leading my way over here. And as we progress with my story, I will basically I will go into signs and how signs are all over us, and how really universe and divine consciousness is communicating to us every time. We're just we just have to be attuned to those type of signs and messages and whatnot. So butterfly, it's typically a representation of transformation, and the dragonfly is a representation of change, right? At least for me. I'm not quite sure how it's going to be for you, but anyway, so that's how universe communicates, and we're going to go into this down the road as well, kind of explaining this. As I was bringing, so my previous videos were talking about I was talking about like communication tools, right? And then I was telling you that, so kind of like giving you a bit of introduction into the cards and what the cards are. And in fact, if you're not familiar with the cards, please check out my the video before last, so where I explained this to you. But I just kind of got the deck cards today to kind of show you for a representation, for visual representation purposes. For someone doesn't really doesn't know what the oracle cards are. So as I mentioned previously, psychics and mediums, or psychic mediums, are working with the cards, and I explained in my previous video the cards are for me in as I understood the concept. So if everything is around us is energy, everything is information. So this information with people who really develop their senses, and don't misunderstand me. Don't misunderstand me, please, because I basically said in my last videos. So all of us have those special gifts, right? All of us are in some sort of psychics, and all of us have this kind of intuition within ourselves, and this sixth sense, as they say, right? So all of us are born with this inner compass, inner guidance. It's kind of like engraved in our DNA. It's engraved in our soul. And we're going to go into the subject of the soul and whatnot. But so just to just to make it clear. So each one of us, in some sort, we are psychics, because it's our natural gift. And the professional psychics who are actually taking it into the next level, it's either their kind of psychic abilities, they were, let's say, more intensified, as I would think. So they were more intensified, and it can be by nature. It can be just part of their calling and part of their, part of their nature, right? And or those are the people who nurtured that connection within since the childhood. And I think it's very important to understand that if you had, so as we are kids, we're sensing things, and we know in many cases, there is a kind of concept that kids can see things, or they can say things that were just, whoa, where did this come from? It's because when we're little kids, our channel is more open. And as life happens to us under some stresses and some type of life pressures and whatnot, that channel under like some traumas, let's say, where we are just kind of blocking on our energy centers, those type of channels are blocked, right? And so people who are really psychics, as I said, they have this channel of communication with those energies very developed. Either it's from the birth and they just, been nurturing it since birth, or they just took it further and started tapping into the other areas, kind of more intensifying, more developing those senses, right? So you might notice something, in your life where you wanted to take the trip. Let's say you had the tickets, but then at the last minute you kind of, it was like a feeling, I don't feel right about this trip, or I don't feel right about going to this party, and then you, let's say, canceled, and then down the road something happened there, or there was, let's say, an accident on the road and where you're supposed to go through, and you said, oh my gosh, I could have been in this accident, right? Because but I really felt something inside telling me not to go there. And so things like this happen because, again, as we are going to get more into like mystical, magical stuff, you will see how it all like works together and whatnot. So it's very exciting. It's extremely exciting. I'm just so stoked and excited about this. In the prior video, I was discussing kind of the cards and how it is a communication tool and whatnot. And I brought one of my first decks here just for people to demonstrate. I'm not really advertising this deck in any way. I just wanted to. It's kind of like a visual representation for people who never saw the cards. So this is kind of this deck was used by by that psychic medium who basically did that initial revolutionary reading for me. And so basically kind of like the angel guide, right? And as you open the box, I still keep them. And then it comes typically, so these are the cards, let's say, with different like messages and whatnot. It would say forgiveness and understanding, and then there's gonna have like self-acceptance and the trust the universe, and let's say do the work in let's say romance and connection, right? So those are very beautiful beautiful, powerful cards. And it will say like power and intention, right? And so courage and bravery. And so they go into like great. I'm not going to go through each card, but you kind of understand the concept, right? And so they're very beautiful, and it's like 44 deck card. Because they, as you read from like literature, like 44 or 444 is an angel number supposedly, right? And so it comes each card. So each card deck will come with kind of like a description, the book, right? And then in each description, as you pick out the cards, and I'll explain more later. So as you pick up, there is like a lengthy message, and it's basically provides you with type of like encouraging message, or what things you need to pay attention to in your life, or what things you really kind of it adds just clarity to you. And so and in my previous video, I also was discussing that I, at one of the psychic fairs, kind of like a small one. It was like a psychic fair event. I stumbled upon the gadget, kind of like not gadget, like another tool of communication. And it was a pendulum, right? As I said, I kind of, I never was familiar with the pendulum and whatnot. And I started to explain to you, kind of like in my last video, in detail what pendulum is, and how this lady who was a friend of that psychic, she showed me how to use this pendulum. And basically you program it yes or no, kind of like going vertically at yes or so it's a yes, and going horizontally it's a kind of like no, and go diagonally it's a maybe. All of those are, as I said, communication tools. And you might ask, so you might now have this question, oh, well, who is communicating? Who are you communicating with, right? Who is that, who is that being, or what is this energy and whatnot? And from my experience, and let me tell you how I understand this, right? In my words, what I know today. So we have this continuous energy field. So it's a consciousness. It's a divine consciousness. It's basically kind of like a common energy of all beings, of all things in existence, right? And then and then there are some energies that are and I'm still trying to understand this concept, because I think when you're dealing with energies and whatever is beyond we just I don't think you at this point in time, at least for me, I don't think we can we can have the whole understanding of how it's how it is comes together and whatnot. So but from my experience, so there's a common energy field, right? So there's a common existence of all things and whatnot, and it's a common consciousness, right? And so this is like very vast. It's way beyond. We don't know how big it is. I'm not quite sure. They write some things in the books and whatnot, but to be honest, I came across some books that they will put some numbers and some like technical terms to this, but from my experience, when you're working with not working, I don't like to say word working, because it's like an adventure, it's like a journey and whatnot. So when you're immersing yourself into these subjects, you really can't put a number on this, really, because you're dealing with something that we are not fully understanding. And I think in many cases you just so some people may never gain this understanding in their lifetime and whatnot, right? So we're trying to understand as much as we can, but to be honest, I think the energies and the consciousness and whatnot, it's all like energy, and I don't see how it can be really calculated. And I will there is such a beautiful bird right there. So anyway, so I just don't think you can put the number on the energy, to be honest. Yes, you can, you can measure the energy field and whatnot, the frequency and whatnot, but it's only like one teeny tiny little thing of what is out there, right? So we don't know, really fully understand how those energies interact with each other, and can they really be kind of separated, and if it's an energy, it can be existing at the same time simultaneously in multiple places, so it's kind of like all unfolding mystery to us. But from right now's knowledge, I kind of understand. So there's this common energy field. However, within this common energy field, there are also kind of like a separate energies. Let me try to explain this in kind of a more precise language. So, for example, we so. So we have our personal energy field within us, right? And so that's what I call a soul, right? So this is our personal energy field, and we are spiritual beings, right? So as we are energetic and energy and spiritual beings, the energy can never be destroyed, right? And so that's why the Buddhism concept about reincarnation makes a lot of sense to me, and I will go in greater detail later as well. When we are born, right? When life just starts, I think that's when the first spark of this energy basically happens and enters, right? And then the baby develops in the womb and whatnot, and so that energy is nurtured within us, right? And however, at the end of our life cycle, let's say we are physical matter, right? So our body, like whatever we're made of as a matter, it's when we pass away, our physical body passes away. What happens with this energy, with that soul, with what is within us, right? So it can be die with the body, and by religious concept, they're saying that soul goes to either heaven or hell. To my personal view in what I research, basically, there's no really hell, So those energies are going into some energy, another energy dimension on another field and whatnot, and this is soul. So. That first one of my friends who I was talking to, the plane is flying and it is so loud. I hope you guys can hear me okay. So that first friend of mine, she recommended for me to kind of listen the book, listen the audio book, and I will put this book in the comments under this video. It's called The Journey of the Soul, where one of the hypnotists, he has a degree and good qualifications, very reputable. I don't remember who he was, like psychologist and whatnot. And so he basically puts people up under hypnosis, and they go into this trance where he goes to either past life regressions, or he goes into interviews the people who were near death experience, and they basically it's very interesting. So they all come up with this interesting, but kind of common experience, right? They're kind of explaining that place where they remember where, they went, what they saw, what they felt, what they what was happening to them. So there are multiple parts of this book, I believe. So I just listened to first part of this book. To be honest, I did not finish the rest of this book, but you're welcome to check it out. So I will post both links into comment section below, or in the description. I'll put them in the description. I think it's going to be it's going to be better. So anyway, those energies, they leave our body, and this is our soul, right? And so when you ask a question, who are you communicating with? It doesn't matter how many books you're going to. It doesn't matter how many books you're going to read and whatnot. I don't think we have at this time and age. I don't think we have a really great understanding about this. And some people may say, oh, I know, I read it, you know, in this book we're communicating to this and that. And, you know, another person say, oh, I know, I think we're communicating to that, kind of spirit or energy or guide and, and whatnot. And so, in my experience, you you just don't know. However, very important factor when this connection happens and communication happens, when we are making this communication, I think it's a very critical and very important fact for us to really stay on the higher vibration. And by higher vibration, I mean the feelings of love, feelings of peace, feelings of like really good intention from your heart, really trying connect with this divine source from the place of love, kindness, so as I explained previously. So it's very important to put your intention in the right place on the higher vibration, and it's very important to basically kind of again being open to things, right? And not really be fearful. If you're coming from the place of kindness and love and peace and joy and happiness and kind of goodness for others, goodness for all living beings, I think you have nothing to fear about who is connecting, because you are connecting on this higher vibrational frequency, and you're going to naturally attract those also higher vibrational beings or energies, as you call them, right? The spirits. It's really, I think, depends on you. Again, everything starts with you. Everything starts with you. So good intent, good vibrations, and whatnot. So let's move forward. But also, what did I want to mention? Okay, so let's talk about about pendulum, right? So when she was explaining to me, so it was a communication tool and whatnot. Little that I knew that my life would shift into another kind of like area of very interesting events would take place in my life. When I got this pendulum, I was so excited, so I got it and I brought it home, and then I started basically I started sitting with this and started kind of like communicating and whatnot, not communicating, but trying to trying for this like to move and whatnot. And then oh my goodness, like to and this is like the first time in my life, right? So I saw really the energy. The energy is moving physical object without any type of kind of interference from, let's say, a breeze or my hand was not shaken. Guys, I'm very transparent. So there is so my hand was at steel, and the object started just kind of making those counterclockwise or counterclockwise or clockwise movements, so it started going in circles. And that's when I'm like, whoa, like this is for the first time I see the energy is moving physical object without any interference. And so I started kind of exploring this aspect. And to be honest, I kind of I don't have my original pendulum, but everything can be in pendulum as I understand this. So it's not really the outer energy that comes in and moves the object, right? So it's not, per my understanding, and you may, you may disagree, but it's not the outer energy that comes in and starts basically moving the object. It's basically the energy that is coming from you. So in each hand, so if I will hold the pendulum, it's going to work for me differently than it will work in the hands of another person. And so I think it's kind of depends on your inner energy as well, and what you already kind of transmuting or channeling through you in that sense, right? What is channeling? Channeling, as I was making, excuse me, as I was making this video about the cards being communication tool and whatnot, I said really to open the channel, right? So you have to be open in kind of opening your inner like inner voice, intuition, attuning to the energies and whatnot, and that's when your channel becomes open, and that's when the information comes from. Where is this information coming from? It's coming from kind of like the I would say the common consciousness, right? The common consciousness. But is there someone specific who can send you these messages? Is there some specific energy that can basically give you that signal? Yes, of course it can. So we really don't know. So there was really also a good book about channeling if you're interested in exploring this subject. For me it was extremely interesting, right? So I can post a picture in the comments, or I can write kind of like a link. It will gain a better understanding, I guess, of the channeling subject if you're interested in this. I just got this one. So for me, with the time passes by, I don't have my original pendulum, because original pendulum, and I will go down the road with this with this story. So original pendulum kind of broke, and I just wanted to show you. So there's a little bit of breeze. There might be a little bit of interference. We'll see how it's going to work. I haven't really used it in a while. So that's basically how it starts to work. I'm sorry. So let me grab it better. So any necklace. So as you can see, it starts doing like the circular movement. So right now, right? And so you see, it basically starts to move on itself. So yes, it's showing me like a yes right now. Some of you, so that's what I was doing on initial stages when I got the pendulum home. I started basically kind of sitting in the quiet room without any interference, without any type of wind and whatnot, and I started basically, asking questions. Is my name Olesya? And it will say yes. Is let's say, I just ask some simple questions, yes or no questions, and that's how my initial kind of so that's when I saw the presentation of energy really moving the physical object, and then it's really kind of, I started feeling that interestedness, right? Interestedness and curiosity, and like how and who and why and what moving this object. So I started playing with this a bit. And it took me on a very kind of like a very beautiful journey. But we're almost at 30 minutes again, so I just wanted to thank you for listening this time. This is kind of, this video I'm going to record the next one, but if you haven't checked out my other videos, thank you so much. Check them out, and thank you so much again for listening. For my information, I will provide more details in my next video. So I really appreciate all of you for being with me here, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Peace and love.